What is happening, guys? How are you doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel, and today we have some rumors about new Wii U ports coming to the Nintendo Switch. So Wii U ports on the Nintendo Switch have been a pretty common occurrence literally since the console launched, because it was only in month number 2 in April of 2017 that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe released for the Nintendo Switch. And since then, we've had a fairly regular stream of games coming over from the Wii U to the Switch, which has been interesting. It's definitely been a bit controversial and divisive. I mean, every time a new Wii U port has been announced, there's been a big conversation about it, whether or not it makes sense to take XYZ game from the Wii U and put it on the Switch. Is it even a good game in the first place? Are they selling it for the correct price? Why didn't you maybe play it on the Wii U in the first place? Why did you wait until the Switch? And if you want it on the Switch, does that mean you secretly liked the Wii U, but you're afraid to admit that you liked the Wii U? All of these conversations and controversies and craziness things have been discussed by a lot of people throughout the course of the Switch's life, and all of these Wii U ports being released. Personally, I've never had the hugest stance on this, and I'm not really sure why. I think it's just because I've not really felt like it's anything that's worth putting my energy into, honestly, to either be really mad about it or even really excited for it. I guess I, more than anything, probably just see any good game releasing on the Switch, no matter where it came from, as a good thing. So I guess by default, I maybe slightly err on the side of thinking it's good that Wii U ports are coming to the Switch. Also because, as some of you may know, I really love the Wii U. I loved it the entire time it was out, and even here in 2020, where it is the least cool thing in the world to say you like the Wii U, I will say that I like the Wii U. In fact, I love the Wii U, and I turn it on every once in a while. I actually turned it on not that long ago to play Rayman Legends and to play Skyward Sword on the Wii on my Wii U. And also, I play my Metroid Prime Trilogy copy every once in a while, or Metroid Other M. When I go back and play those games, which, granted, are Wii games, I can play them in my Wii U. I mean, that's one of the best things about the Wii U, is that it's also my Nintendo Wii. I don't know. I really like the console, and I also really like the games made for it. I think the Wii U had an incredibly strong and very underrated and underappreciated library. So many good games, mostly first party, but there are some third party gems and even some third party exclusive gems on that console. I mean, Bayonetta 2, come on, that was a Wii U exclusive. And so while a huge part of me as a Wii U fan wants to say, hey, why didn't you play this on the Wii U? Why didn't you own a Wii U? Why didn't you freaking buy one so that the console wouldn't have been as big of a sales disaster as it was? Like, you clearly like and want all of these games, but where were you 5 years ago when the Wii U was Nintendo's console? And a small selection of us were out here screaming to the heavens about how quality the console was. But you were nowhere to be seen. And I mean the proverbial you. I'm not talking to any one of you specifically. Just people. Just where the hell were they? Why weren't they buying the Wii U, you know? It wasn't a perfect machine, and Nintendo made mistakes without question. I will never defend that aspect, but it was still good hardware. Anyway, so I wish that people played these games on the Wii U, but at the same time, a good game is a good game. A quality port is a quality port. The Switch is a vastly more successful console than the Wii U, without question. And so, do I also like the idea of people who missed these great Wii U games getting a chance to play them now because the Switch is more successful? Yes, I do. I really feel like that's a good thing, and I can't really fault anyone to a degree. Early on, a big complaint from people was that Nintendo is wasting, effort and time and resources on porting Wii U games as opposed to making brand new games and brand new entries in all of these series. And, in the first year of the Switch, I think that made a little bit more sense, but now that we're in year 3 of the Switch, and honestly, we're going to hit the 4-year anniversary, we're going to hit the 3-year anniversary pretty soon here, in March of 2020. It's like, yeah, I don't think that's a concern anymore. Nintendo has made a ton of incredible games, and they have an incredible library, first and third party. I mean, the best third party support they've seen since the GameCube, in my opinion, and it's probably even better now than it was on the GameCube. And that's something for Nintendo to be proud of. And so now it's like, okay, well, with all these great games coming that are modern, suddenly a couple of ports from last-gen games and consoles doesn't feel like such a big deal. And so anyway, the reason that I'm talking about this today, you may know, is that Emily Rodgers, who is a well-known Nintendo blogger and insider and has broken a lot of scoops throughout the years, she really seems to have some good inside information and knowledge. She's the one who also broke the scoop about Mario and Rabbids, by the way. when that seemed like something that was impossible. She recently posted, I believe it was on a Reset Era forum, and I know that Reset Era is kind of a disaster, but, you know, regardless, she's somebody who's known for knowing stuff, and so she posted on a Reset Era forum the fact that she has knowledge of apparently 2 unannounced Wii U ports that are still to be coming, and here is what she said. I can also confirm that Nintendo has at least 2 more unannounced Wii U ports. They are not difficult to guess because there aren't many Wii U games left to port. So there you go. That's what she said about Wii U ports and the fact that apparently there's 2 planned ones that she knows about that have yet to be announced. Very interesting, and also it's very interesting that she said that she's kind of trying to give the hint of it's not very hard to guess what these games are. There's not a whole lot of quality games left to port, and so if you really pay attention to the library, it should be easy for a lot of us to figure out what these games would be. Now, one could maybe say that it's pretty easy to guess that Nintendo is going to release future Wii U ports, and to that I would say, yeah, that's true, that's definitely accurate. I've said that about a lot of rumors and hoaxes and quote leaks that have released over the years, that a lot of times it's not hard for people to sometimes guess something that's going to be true because maybe logic tells you that it's going to be true, you know? And so how much should we believe that somebody says something that's a leak and that it's true because they actually know secret information, or is it true just because they were really good at guessing what's true? And I don't want to get into that here because, again, I know that Emily Rodgers does have a lot of inside info, so I tend to believe her anyway, and that's not really the point. But I know that a lot of people might want to try to poke holes in the story, and that's a way that they could do it for sure. But I just think that there's probably something to this. I mean, why wouldn't they want to continue bringing a couple of Wii U ports over? I mean, we're already like a week or 2 away from another one. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is coming out on the Switch in January, like really soon from today. So they're still keeping them going, and so I wanted to talk about some of the games I think that we might see. I mean, she is not kidding when she says that there aren't a lot of games left to port from the Wii U, and so I've narrowed it down to the 5 that to me seem to make the most sense and seem to be the most obvious. And the first one, and the one that I think has the #1 chance at being a port from the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch, is obviously Super Mario 3D World. There's almost no doubt in my mind that that game is coming over to the Switch, and honestly, it should, or at least I should say, it should in a world where Nintendo is constantly releasing Wii U ports. Since this is the actual world that we live in, then I think that, yeah, Mario 3D World makes the most sense. It's not my favorite Mario game, but it is very good, it is very popular, and I think it makes a lot of sense on the Switch. That game will sell gangbusters. I mean, New Super Mario Bros. U, of all things, sold like 3 or 5 million copies or something totally insane, simply because it's a Mario platformer. And Mario 3D World, again, while not my favorite, is pretty underrated. I mean, I know that a lot of people didn't play it simply because it was on the Wii U, and I think people would jump at the chance for this really quirky and unique sort of like isometric Mario game. And I would love to play it again. I obviously have it on my Wii U, but I would love to see that they actually do something significant to change it on the Switch, because if they did, then there is a good chance I might be willing to double dip. I haven't seen any Wii U port really that's convinced me to double dip. I don't have any of them on the Nintendo Switch, because except for Tokyo Mirage Sessions and New Super Mario Bros., I actually own all of the other ones already on the Wii U. And I had New Super Mario Bros., I just traded it in when I bought it because I actually didn't really like it. And so, yeah, Mario 3D World, it's the one that would sell the most, it's the one that people would be the most interested in, and it is a really great game, and so I think that makes sense on the Switch. Now, another one that people have been asking for like crazy, and I would definitely love to see come to the Nintendo Switch, is Xenoblade Chronicles X. And a lot of people feel like this game isn't getting enough love or attention in the midst of this whole kind of discussion and rumor about Wii U ports. And, I mean, I agree with their disappointment, you know, to a degree. Xenoblade Chronicles X is freaking awesome. I think it's better than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And think about it. They're already doing a remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch coming up later this year. If they were to put Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Switch, then suddenly they've got all 3 Xenoblade games available on one console. That would be amazing. And I do think it would also do fairly well. It wouldn't be a huge seller, but I could see it selling at least 1 million units on the Switch if they promoted and pumped it well and made people realize how amazing that game is. It's really good. It is so underrated as far as Xenoblade games go. I mean, everyone remembers the first one, and everyone talks about 2 because it's the current one, but people forget this weird, quirky middle game that was surprisingly amazing. And so I really hope that Xenoblade Chronicles X gets the Switch treatment. Another game that's tricky is Pikmin 3, and it's tricky to me because I also think Pikmin 4 is on its way. I think 2020 is the year that we're going to see Pikmin 4. And if that's true, and Pikmin 4 is on the way, then I feel that means that there's less of a chance that Nintendo would bring Pikmin 3 over. However, if for whatever reason Pikmin 4 or some kind of new Pikmin is not currently planned for the Switch and is not planned for at least this year, 2020, then Pikmin 3 makes a ton of sense because it would fill the void and it would get people excited about Pikmin again. And I also think it would be a very strong seller. I think that one would sell at least probably 2 million units. Great game. One of my top 5 Nintendo games of the last couple of years. Definitely one of my top Wii U games. And I think that people need to realize how good Pikmin is. How would they make it work on the Switch? Would they use motion controls with the Joy-Cons? I hope so. And again, similar to Metroid Prime 4, I would love it if it was a good showcase for how controls will work on the Switch for Pikmin 4 when that comes out. They could kind of use Pikmin 3 as a testing ground. So I would really love to see Pikmin 3 come to the Nintendo Switch big time. Another favorite of mine that I am just dying to have happen, and this is the first one I would without question double dip on, is the wonderful 101. That is right, the crazy, weird, like close to Wii U launch title game from Platinum Studios. I think it was in the first like 6 months of the Wii U's life, like late 2013, August I want to say. Man, Wonderful 101. I don't know what to say about it. It's a game that not a lot of people played and not a lot of people know about, but the people who know about it love it, and it has a huge cult following for that reason. A lot of people have been clamoring for this game to come to the Switch for a very long time, and I am definitely one of them. I agree with the vocal majority out there yelling for the Wonderful 101. It's a weird, quirky game, and I get nervous thinking about playing it on the TV without touch controls. I know you could probably do the touch stuff when you're playing it portably, and that's fine, but what about when you play on the TV? Using the joysticks to move your troops to make shapes was just not good, and I don't know why anyone would want to play it that way. The touchscreen stuff is perfect for that game. And so, I do get nervous on how good of a translation it's going to make from the Wii U to the Switch. That part does make me nervous. But I would like to see them try. I would love to give it a shot, and I would love to at least buy and support it with my money anyway to show Nintendo and Platinum that there's love for the series and that we would really love a sequel big time. Man, that would be so good. So yeah, I definitely want to see Wonderful 101 come to the Switch. And the last game that I think has a semi-decent shot, but also it really is not very high, is Star Fox Zero. And I know a lot of people want to groan when they see Star Fox Zero, but you know what? I love this damn game. Star Fox Zero I think is great. It does have flaws and it is very hard on the Wii U, yes, but I think the ambition was there and it still overall works. That game works. I think it looked good. It was fun to play. It was Star Fox, you guys. It was Star Fox. And we miss Star Fox. And I think a new Star Fox game needs to come out on the Switch big time. And so Star Fox Zero, does this game make sense to port to the Switch? I do think yes, but obviously, similar to Wonderful 101, the translation from Wii U to Switch would be really hard, man, and I don't really know exactly how they would do it. Maybe they just remove the cockpit view altogether, but the problem is there are some enemies and some bosses and some secrets where you kind of need to be able to use that second cockpit view that's different than when you're just facing forward behind the R-Wing. And like you need to be able to kind of get into your cockpit and look around. And maybe there's a way to do that with like a button press. You know, I bet that that's almost how they exactly would do it. And so I don't know, man. And I would love it if they actually did tighten the visuals up just a little bit, even though I think the game looks great. The art direction is off the charts for that game. Yeah, Star Fox, man, I just think that we need Star Fox on the Switch. I think Star Fox Zero is a good game that did not get enough credit for what it did and for the things that it did really well. It's a lot of fun. I think that people would embrace it if they knew that the game was refined and the gameplay was fixed as much as they could fix it. I think that people would embrace Star Fox Zero on the Switch. I really do. I think it's probably the least likely of all 5 games I'm talking about here, unfortunately, because of the controls. But I don't think it's impossible, and I know that I would personally love to see it, so that's why I bring it up. So there are some other smaller, more obscure games that maybe we could possibly expect as surprise weird ports, you know, like, I don't know, Zombie U, Yoshi's Woolly World, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. You know, there are those kinds of games on the Wii U that maybe could come over, but I don't really expect anything of those tiers. I think that we're looking at higher tier quality games. And we've already had Mario Kart and Donkey Kong and Captain Toad. his new Super Mario Brothers. There's been so many. Hyrule Warriors. Did I say that one? I don't know. There's already also been Hyrule Warriors. There's been so many. At this point, Mario 3D World, Xenoblade, and Pikmin make the most sense. And I think those are the three that have the best shot of being one of these two ports from the Wii U to the Switch. So is there any truth to this? Are we going to see new Wii U ports this year? I think so, but we won't really know until we know. So I want to hear what you guys think. Do you believe Emily Rodgers' rumor or not? And if you do believe it, what games do you think are going to come? Do you think the 5 games that I mentioned today make sense, or is there something else I'm forgetting that you think makes sense, or just a personal wish of yours that you liked on the Wii U? Whatever you think, talk about it below. And with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.